السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim wa ba'd. I come to you live from Malaysia. Alhamdulillah, I arrived last night. There's a conference that I'm speaking at this morning, inshallah. And in a few minutes, I'll be getting ready to leave. And hopefully, if you're in KL, that you'll be heading to the conference. It's myself, Shaykh Nu'man, Shaykh Omar Sulaiman, Ustaz Nu'man Ali Khan, Shaykh Dawood Bacha, and a few others. It's the Ilm Arts Festival in KL. Come join us, inshallah. But I didn't want to miss the daily tafseer, and inshallah tomorrow also from KL I'll do the tafseer before I fly back to Perth. We've arrived in Surah Al-Mulk, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us in the Quran to look up into the seven heavens. And we said that the word sab'a samawat, the seven heavens, it's not inclusive of hasr. It doesn't mean that this is the only creation of Allah. It's not limited to seven. Rather, Allah is telling us, وَيَخْلُقُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. There are things that Allah will create that we will never come to know about. And science, of course, has come to show its inability to decipher and to detail the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's the billions of bacteria in a square inch of soil, or whether it's in the 2 trillion stars that are estimated in our multiverse, the universe that surrounds us. We come to the fourth, and inshallah we'll do the fourth and fifth verse because they are really interconnected, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ثُمَّ رْجِعِ الْبَصَرِ كَرَّتَيْنِ يَنْقَلِبْ إِلَيْكَ الْبَصَرُ خَاسِئًا وَهُوَ حَسِيرٌ. Look again and again and again, look twice. And, Qatada and some of the Imams of Tafseer of the past, they would say, marratayn, and it's a pluricity of looking into the creation of Allah. And therefore my life and your life is built on that first word given to the Prophet ﷺ, iqra, recite, read, discover, learn in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. So our aim in life is to learn who is al-ma'bud, to come to discover who is the only one who is worthy of worship. And the essence of the Quran comes with those three messages, those three things. The first, Allahu ma'budun bihaq, Allah is the only one who is worthy of worship. The Quran asserts that. Wa Muhammadan nabiyyuhu sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and that the Prophet is his messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and there were other prophets who came carrying a similar message of tawheed before, and that there is thawab and iqab for the one, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ, the one who believes and the one who turns away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثُمَّ رْجِعِ الْبَصَرِ. So look and look, let your eyes see. And notice how Allah talks about the first instance of our five senses. Looking is a very powerful thing, and it's important to pause here for a second. The look has a direct window to your heart, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ tells us that when a person passes away, as is in the authentic hadith in Tirmidhi, he says, make sure that we close their eyes, because the soul continues to see through the eyes of the deceased. And therefore this is a very, very important concept, that the eyes have a very powerful connection to that which surrounds us. And when Allah talks to us about our death, He says, فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ in Surah Qaf. Now your eyes become sharp. You see the true reality. So Allah wants us to look with our eyes. Look again, كَرَّتَيْن, once and twice. Maybe the first time you didn't think you saw, look again. يَرْجِعْ إِلَيْكَ الْبَصَرُ خَاسِئًا. You'll see that your sight returns to you fatigued. خَاسِئًا, Abdullah ibn Abbas says that it's weakened. That when you looked out, you wanted to see something, but it's defeated because you couldn't find what would give you this assertion. And you can see this in, modern science. Every time they send a spaceship up to Mars or something, they come out, we couldn't find life or something. And, the purpose that drives this billions and billions and trillions of dollars that have been built on the space program is that they're trying to find some kind of a semblance of existence outside this worldly sphere to say, see, it can occur naturally, chaotically, without cause, without a creator. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us already that there are other creations of Allah. We believe in the angels, we believe in the jinn, we believe in things that were created that we are not well aware of. The next ayah, ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. Allah says that we have adorned the heavens that is nearest to the earth. And therefore, here Allah makes it very clear that there's a universe that is part of our realm, something that we can look into. So these 2 trillion stars, it's part of this worldly heaven, worldly sphere, that when we look out, masabih. So the stars are part of this first worldly heaven. The heaven for us is in the sky above. It's not, the blueness that you see in the sky. It's not the stratosphere or zonosphere or things like that. It is the totality of the universe that we live in, not just limited to our solar system. Now, one of the bigger mistakes that you see in some English translations is that they say, وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ, that we've made the stars, or these masabih, these lit lamps in the sky. And notice how Allah refers to stars as lit lamps, meaning gaseous. They're things that are they're things that are lit as a flame. And, this is very consistent with, modern science, what we know about the sun and our solar system and so on. But one of the key things is, one of the mistakes that you find with a lot of people in the translations, even some of the published printed translations, is that they say we've made these stars, these masabih, as the pellets or the rockets or the missiles that are against the shaitan. Now, of course, the scholars of the past discount this, Qatada and others, they say no. In fact, that what is from the stars will be used as a punishment of the shayateen, but not the stars themselves. And therefore, some of the imams like Qatada ibn Abbas, they say, how can it be the missile if it still remains? Like, how can it be the punishment of the shaitan if it has been used in that way, but it's still there? And therefore, it debunks that. So Qatada, he says, the stars have been placed for 3 reasons that we are able to identify, that we can confirm from our Quran. First, zina. They are a beautification. They're an ornament. They're constellations that we are bewildered by. Number 2, that from them will be a destined punishment for the shayateen that is only in the knowledge of Allah. How and when and where, Allahu A'lam. It doesn't mean that a star will fall or the star will be shot at a shaitan. That is not our belief as Muslims, and that's a misreading of the Quran. And number 3, لِتَهْتَدُوا بِهَا. Allah says in the Quran that the stars can be used as a guide. They don't shift in their position, and therefore if you know where the North Star is, you know where is north. You can navigate around the earth as they used to in the past by following the dictates of the stars. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. Another interpretation that some of the scholars of an esoteric perspective they take, they say رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ is that the people who rely on the shaitan, they use this in a rajm perspective, meaning in a guessing perspective, that they will fortune tell with the stars. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. And therefore the damir al-a'id, and therefore the return is that the shayateen are not the shayateen that we're talking about. They are shayateen al-ins, the human shayateen who delude people by saying, hey, look at that star. That means if you get married on this day, your marriage won't be blessed. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. So they have been using it in that way, which is sinful, in contradiction to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. And therefore for them, Allah ends the ayah by mentioning that there is a severe punishment. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the punishment of Allah. So therefore this ayah has a number of perspectives. It can be looked at from different perspectives. Ayah number 4 and number 5. We see that the surah is built, as we said, this first section of it, these first 5 sections, Allah lays the foundation that He is the only one in power and authority and in control. And look at the dominion and the expanse of the heavens and the earth, not once and twice, but look again and again, and you will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not created this world sudan wa hamala, with chaos and without naught and for no reason. Rather, it is for a purpose and a reason, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to consider then our position with that. And the next ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins to confirm what He wants from us and show us what is the punishment of those وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, for those who disbelieve. And kafaru is not just something that's done by mistake. Kafaru here, Allah, as we will see in the next set of verses, is an established treaty where a person makes a treaty between themselves to disbelieve in Allah, to reject Allah, that they come to know the Maker and say and seek to distance themselves from what they believe. They put their kufr, they hide it deep in themselves. And therefore that word kufr means to cover up something. So they cover up the genuineness of faith that they know they should have by layering it under elements that lead them away in a cloudy way from the Maker and the Sustainer of the heavens and the earth. I hope you will join me again tomorrow around this time, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, for the tafsir of Surah Taha, our daily tafsir. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless our effort. Wa subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Joining me inshallah later on today, I believe I'm speaking at 10:30 a.m. in about an hour and a half. I'll also live broadcast it bi'idhnillah for those of you who aren't to be with us in KL. But if you're able to come, join myself, Nu'man Ali Khan, Umar Sulaiman, and many others, and Dawood Bat bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.